Keeping people safe isn't just the responsibility of mental health services. It's the responsibility of all the different agencies that come into contact with the people we support. For example, Al is a man with schizophrenia who has also accessed our drug and alcohol services over several years. And he does engage with services to a degree, but after following a long period of compliance with his medication, he began not keeping up with his oral meds and he started to deteriorate. And it was actually his housing association who alerted us to concerns they had around antisocial behaviour at his home that we uncovered the abuse that he'd been experiencing.
Yeah, well, I thought they were all right, didn't I? Well, Darren was all right. Darren was like me. But then he brought in the others and it wasn't all right. Because he brought them into my flat. They practically moved in. They started sleeping here every night and I didn't want that. They were just kids. Well, when I say that they were just kids, that Connor, he was 15, I think he said. And he'd stay a few weeks and then they'd swap over and it'd be Terry living here. And when I said that I didn't like it, when I said that I didn't want them in my flat anymore, do you know what they said? They said, well, you're going to have to like it, or we're going to smash your head in.
Moving into someone's home unwanted is known as cuckooing, and this is what was happening with Al. There's been a trend with gangs grooming and coercing children to deal drugs for them. This is sometimes known as county lines, and it's named after the phone numbers used by drug users to order their drugs from the gangs. And by using children to actually deliver the drugs, that means there's a reduced risk to the gangs of getting caught themselves. And children are often moved away from home, and sometimes they're moved into the home of a vulnerable person like Al, who aren't able to protect themselves or say no.
Do you want to know how I felt? I felt scared. I was terrified. I didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, I know I've got these problems with my head and that, and I know I'm not one to say that you shouldn't be selling drugs, but this is where I lived. This is where I went sometimes to escape from things, but I couldn't, could I? Then the housing turned up, and I thought I was going to get thrown out on the street because of everything that was happening in my flat.
The partnership principle of making safeguarding personal really helped with Al. The support staff at the Housing Association are well trained to recognise that reports of antisocial behaviour may actually be indicators of some form of abuse taking place. So not only were they able to talk to Al with that in mind, they also thought wider than the safeguarding adult issues involved here. And they thought about how the children in this situation might also be at risk themselves from the gangs they're involved with. Child exploitation can actually be about how children are exploited into criminal behaviour.
What will make you feel safe, Al? That's what they said to me. I said, well, I don't feel safe here anymore, do I? Not now they know where I live and that they're going to smash my face in. And they said, keeping you safe doesn't have to involve moving. I said, no, that's what I want. I want to move. That's my decision. And they said, okay. It's good that, isn't it? I felt like I was in control. And here I am.
It wasn't just about getting Al another place to live. In the time it took to get Al rehoused, we all did quite a bit of work with him to give him strategies to prevent this from happening again. And he now recognises that he's got to be accountable as a housing association tenant. And he's also reconnected with our drug and alcohol services, and he's actually sharing his experiences with other people to help them protect themselves against something similar happening to them.